A bombshell health announcement is about to shake the medical establishment, and it directly targets one of America's most trusted household medications. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., now serving as United States Health Secretary, is preparing to release what could be the most controversial health report in recent memory. The upcoming announcement will allegedly establish a connection between Tylenol use during pregnancy and autism spectrum disorders, a claim that's already sending shockwaves through both the pharmaceutical industry and the medical community. But here's where it gets controversial. This isn't just another health scare. Kennedy and the Department of Health and Human Services are reportedly backing their claims with research that could fundamentally change how we view one of the world's most commonly used over-the-counter medications. According to multiple credible news sources, including detailed reporting from the Wall Street Journal, the forthcoming report won't stop at highlighting potential risks. It's expected to go a step further by proposing alternative treatments, specifically suggesting that folate-derived medications could serve as therapeutic options for managing developmental disorder symptoms in certain individuals. Let's break this down in simple terms. Tylenol, scientifically known as acetaminophen, has been a go-to pain relief solution for decades. Pregnant women have routinely relied on it as one of the few pain medications considered relatively safe during pregnancy. If Kennedy's claims hold water, this could represent a massive shift in prenatal care recommendations. And this is the part most people miss. Despite the upcoming official stance, the current scientific establishment maintains there's no definitive consensus linking acetaminophen to autism development. This creates a fascinating tension between emerging official health policy and established medical opinion. So where exactly does this medication that millions trust actually come from? The answer might surprise you with its complexity. The Tylenol brand operates under the ownership of McNeil Consumer Healthcare, which functions as a subsidiary of Kenvue. However, the manufacturing process spans multiple continents and facilities, creating a global production network that most consumers never consider. 2 major production centers operate right here in Pennsylvania. The primary manufacturing hub sits in Fort Washington, specifically in the Upper Dublin area of Montgomery County. This facility alone represents a significant portion of Tylenol's global production capacity. Additionally, Lancaster, Pennsylvania houses another substantial manufacturing operation. But the production story extends far beyond Pennsylvania's borders. Las Piedras, Puerto Rico, serves as another critical manufacturing location, while Guelph, Ontario, in Canada, rounds out the major production sites. This international approach allows for consistent supply chain management and regional distribution efficiency. Here's what gets really interesting from a supply chain perspective. While these facilities handle the final manufacturing and packaging processes, the raw materials that become Tylenol often originate from entirely different countries. China and Israel serve as primary sources for key ingredients, highlighting how truly global modern pharmaceutical manufacturing has become. The ownership story adds another layer of complexity that most people don't realize. For decades, Tylenol was synonymous with Johnson & Johnson, one of America's most recognizable pharmaceutical giants. However, in 2023, J&J made a strategic business decision that completely restructured the brand's ownership. Johnson & Johnson spun off its entire consumer health division, which included the Tylenol brand along with numerous other household names, into a newly created company called Kenvue. This transition meant that while consumers still see the same trusted Tylenol packaging, the corporate structure behind it had fundamentally changed. Kenvue now holds complete ownership and manufacturing responsibility for the Tylenol brand, representing a significant shift in pharmaceutical industry consolidation trends. The Fort Washington facility deserves special attention given its role in this story. Spanning over 100 acres along Camp Hill Road, this manufacturing complex employs approximately 2,000 people, representing roughly 10% of Kenvue's entire global workforce of 20,000 employees. The facility's significance extends beyond just production numbers. It represents a major economic anchor for Montgomery County and the broader Philadelphia region. Now here's where the controversy really heats up. If Kennedy's upcoming report gains traction and influences medical recommendations, Facilities like Fort Washington could face unprecedented scrutiny. The intersection of local economic interests, public health policy, and scientific debate creates a perfect storm of competing priorities. Consider the broader implications. Millions of pregnant women have used acetaminophen based on decades of medical guidance, suggesting it was among the safer pain relief options during pregnancy. If official health policy shifts dramatically, it could trigger not only changes in medical practice, but potentially massive legal and financial consequences for manufacturers. The timing of this announcement also raises questions about the intersection of politics and public health policy. Kennedy, known for his controversial stances on various health topics, now wields significant official influence over national health messaging. His track record of challenging established medical consensus adds another dimension to how this announcement might be received by both healthcare professionals and the general public. What makes the situation particularly complex is the challenge of interpreting scientific research in real-world policy contexts. Even if studies suggest correlations between acetaminophen use and developmental outcomes, establishing definitive causation requires extensive, long-term research that often takes years or decades to complete. The folate treatment component of the expected announcement adds yet another layer of scientific and policy complexity. Folate, a B vitamin crucial for proper cell division and DNA synthesis, plays well-established roles in fetal development. The suggestion that folate-derived treatments could address developmental disorder symptoms represents a potential shift toward nutritional and supplemental therapeutic approaches. For expecting parents and families affected by autism spectrum disorders, this announcement creates both hope and uncertainty. The possibility as new treatment approaches offers potential benefits, while questions about widely used medications create anxiety about past and future healthcare decisions. The pharmaceutical industry's response to these developments will likely prove telling. Companies like Kenvue must balance public health responsibilities with business interests, all while navigating potentially shifting regulatory environments. So, here's the million-dollar question that everyone should be asking. How do we balance legitimate scientific inquiry and evolving medical understanding with the need for consistent, evidence-based healthcare guidance? And perhaps more controversially, when high-profile political figures make bold health claims that challenge established medical consensus, should we automatically embrace their authority? Or does this represent a dangerous precedent for mixing politics with scientific medicine? What's your take on this developing story? Do you think Kennedy's upcoming announcement represents necessary transparency about potential health risks? Or does it risk undermining public trust in established medical guidance? Share your thoughts. Whether you lean towards supporting these revelations or questioning their timing and methodology, this conversation affects all of us.